natin, tara.
The whole world is looking at Filipinos right now as they're about to elect a late dictator's son to be the president of the Philippines. In other countries, this is what you'll see. And from outsiders watching it unfold, this is what you'll hear.
The son of a guy who terrorized the Philippines for years is now the front runner to take over. Bongbong Marcos has shown virtually no remorse for what his father put the country through.
So why is it that this man is leading a presidential race by a landslide? Yes, over 30 million Filipinos voted for him, at least according to the partial unofficial tally. Is it because Filipinos see something in him that a big part of the world doesn't? Nightfall. This is a special video that will spotlight, not my opinion, but the voice of Filipinos for the Filipinos. And if you're watching this election unfold from a different part of the world, stick around because you might get your answer. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what they said when we asked, what are your hopes and fears for the next president of the Philippines? One thing is definite, as it's often in the politics, there is a strong contrast in opinions. One side is already bracing for really dark times.
It's a really dark time for the Philippines right now.
I fear that disappearance, torture, politically detained, death, and other unlawful acts against our freedom and human rights might happen again.
While the other is celebrating a bright future ahead.
And as 30+ millions of Filipino people voted for him, I don't think we have the reasons to be afraid of, because yes, majority of us believed in him. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas.
There is no reason to be fear because our new elected president is chosen by the majority. And I hope that new administration will help all of Filipinos in all of needs and put some good plans in health, education, economy, and infrastructure.
It's almost like they're living in different realities, holding different sets of facts.
How could I trust a leader who uses disinformation networks to promote himself, fake news, and trolls? How could I support a leader who never liked attending debates, never liked being criticized?
There are no fears, as it is the beginning of new era, a new place for Filipino to arise from prostration and hope.
And maybe that is why Marcos Jr.'s call for unity during his campaign has resonated with a lot of people who are simply tired with the so-called toxic division.
I fear that the relationships, friendships that's been broken by the elections, we all have our differences, we all have our own principles and beliefs.
But then the critics also ask, what is the point of unity under a family name that has stolen so much from the country?
My biggest fear for this election is to have a president that is stained with corruption and built by disinformation.
I am genuinely scared to put back into position what the people back then ousted.
To which Marcos supporters usually counter with two things. It is time to forgive what his family did, and that he cannot be judged through his father's sins. Nightfall. I realize that it doesn't look good when me, a foreigner, comments on other countries' affairs. We all know, because it's politics, there are many more complicated issues that this video has not even touched yet. Rampant fake news, disinformation, some reports of election irregularities, to name a few. But if you ask me, how I feel for the country that has become such a big part of my mission, Here is what I know to be true. I know that Filipinos deserve so much from their government. I know that the poor and the underrepresented demand a public servant who truly cares about their needs in jobs, health, and education. And I know that every voter only wants best for their nation. And as I know all of this, I must tell you something that is very sad, disappointing, and difficult. I have been contacted by many people from the Philippines, and I can see how many are so afraid to even voice their opinions. That is why we have blurred the faces of the people who speak in this video, because the hate is so strong, because the division is so strong, because the trolls are so strong. Some people are even worried for their lives, simply for expressing their opinions. I have said it before and I'll say it again. The Philippines is a beautiful nation that deserves all the blessings of this world. That is why only recently our Project Nightfall organization helped raise funds after the typhoon that hit the Filipinos. Over 20,000 affected people received help from it. In that moment, in these big numbers, we saw a beautiful unity, and we hope that this type of unity will prevail no matter what, so that when the next elections happen, no one is scared for their lives in expressing their opinions about the future of their country.
Ang tanong ko lang nagtataka ako kasi ngayon ko lang ito napanood nagtataka ako what's making the people or most of them or the BBM supporters so mad or rage about this bakit tanong ko lang, di ba? I mean wala naman siyang sinabi na o wala naman yung point dito sa video na parang kinakampihan niya yung Marcos or sinabi niya, ay bakit ganito yung mga parang at the first part of the video, parang pinakita niya doon na majority ng tao ay binoto itong si Marcos. But after that, the latter part, sinabi rin dito kung ano yung talagang history. Dalawang faction kasi ng Pilipino ang nangyayari when it comes to ang usapin natin ay Marcos una is yung Marcos the believers, which is yung sinasabi nila na ito yung history, the golden era of Philippine politics or Philippine government and another one is the Marcos opposition wherein ang narrative ay maraming mga abuse, parang ayaw nang maulit yung dati. So, dalawang faces ang pinakita dito ni Project Nightfall the Marcos supporters and the Marcos opposition. So, I mean, nagtataka ako bakit maraming galit kasi ang parang ang nakita ko dun sa pinakahuling video dito is at the end of the day, ang mga Pilipino ay may nagtutulungan, unity. Tumulong pa nga itong Project Nightfall nung bagyo, di ba? And then another issue na was raised dito kay Project Nightfall is yung bakit yung mga tao, parang akala ko ba tayo ay nakatira sa isang bansa wherein meron tayong demokrasya, But at the same time, bakit natatakot yung mga tao na magsalita? Nasusuppress yung freedom of expressions natin. Parang ayaw magsalita. Kaya nga sabi niya, kaya na-blurred itong mga faces ng mga na-interview niya kasi because of fear. Fear of their lives, fear of yung bashing and everything. Parang anong problema sa Pilipinas? Philippines is supposed to be a beautiful country, a freedom country. Pero bakit ganito ang nangyayari? Kaya nga, even in fact, kung siguro tayo mga sumuporta kay Mayor Isko, Kung siguro wala yung mga kagaya ng iba sa atin na talagang lumabas na magsalita para kay Mayor Isko, siguro wala talagang lumabas. Wala yung boses na parang sinundan natin na, "Ay, ito kailangan natin ilabas yung boses natin, kailangan nating lumabas, huwag tayong maging silent." 'Di ba? So, yun yung nangyayari, 'di komo ba itong majority, karamihan, sumuporta kay Marcos, wala na bang karapatan yung iba na mag-voice out? Yun yung nangyari kasi nung nag-voice out, nag-stand out yung mga iba, lumabas yung mga ibang sumuporta kay Mayor Isko, ang nangyari is sinugod ng mga Marcos supporters yung mga Iskonians. So nasusupil dito yung freedom of expressions, 'di ba? Freedom of speech natin. Kaya nga nakita talaga karamihan talaga dito na mind condition na sumuporta na lang kay Marcos kasi ito yung winnable, ito yung totoong tao, ito yung totoong with good governance, 'di ba? Ganun naman talaga ang nangyari diyan. So, ayan, deleted yung video na yan for your information, ano. At yun lang para sa akin, I find it fair naman yung paglabas niya ng ano kasi kumbaga kasama naman na yan sa history natin yung naging diktador naman talaga for 20 years, 'di ba? Yung mga history ng mga nakamkam, nasamsam mula sa kaban ng bayan, proven naman yan at totoo naman yan. So, what's wrong with that, di ba? Okay, sabihin nila, tama naman, nanalo na siya, naipanalo na ng taong bayan, pinili ng taong bayan, despite of the history, we can give him a chance na maipakita niya na sana naman hindi niya gagayahin yung kanyang parents, yung kanyang magulang. Yun lang naman yun. Muli, hindi natin sinasabi na hindi tayo makamove on, hindi tayo susuportahan natin ang gobyerno. Pero pag meron tayong nakitang mali, ikokondinahin natin. Andito tayo as parang watchdog. Tayo ay parang the world is on him para maipakita niya, magpakitang gilas siya sa atin. Patunayan niya na mali tayo doon sa ating mga pangontra or pangungontra sa kanya at patunayan niya. Kasi kung wala naman yung kagaya natin, wala. Magsisiting pretty na lang yan kasi wala namang pumapansin sa kanya. So yun lang yun. Chari Victoria, 6 years, walang trabaho si Daniel. Pero nung nag-aral pala maging magician. June. Ayan. Ito yung makata. Ayan, hello. Paris Gama, Porcon, hindi ako susuporta kay BBM. Hindi siya fair, sinungaling sa mga binablog. Kaya, agree ako dyan, yung mga binablog niya Basta, sige, tignan natin yung ano niya. Okay? BBT, andito ka din. Morris Ambas, nakapagtataka kung ano ang survey yung din nasusunod. Lahat ng mga yan, alam nyo, sa totoo lang, yes, live, Ann Martinez. Lahat ng mga ano natin, Zenny, hello, balik mo yung painting. Ay, Kyle Spencer, hello, Janet Rosario, pinili ng taong bayan. That's a very big question. Kaya nga, lahat ng mga questions natin na tumatakbo sa ating kaisipan, alam niyo sa totoo lang, may karapatan din tayo magtanong. Kaya lamang, nandito na tayo sa reality na parang wala rin tayong kalaban-laban. Wala na tayong kalaban-laban. Ganun everything was like manipulated, mind conditioned, naisahan tayo, parang ginoyo tayo. Alam niyo yung tipong pumila-pila ka sa para bumoto, nagpaalam ka sa boss mo para makaboto, tapos at the end of the day para tayong dinaya, para tayong pinagkaisahan, na gusto nating mag-voice out, gusto nating ipaglaban, gusto nating makorek, pero parang wala tayong force, wala tayong karapatan. Suportahan na lang natin. Pero nung sila naman nung 2016, 6 years na pinaglaban, 6 years na nag-iingay ng nadaya, fake VP, fake Ngayon, ang gusto nilang mangyari ngayon, tanggapin nyo, ito yung Nung 2016 sabi nila, yung smart magic, smart magic. Ngayon, smartmatic na, tama na yung term nila, 'di ba? Yung parang ah, unfair yung treatment kasi nung sila nag-iingay sila. Nung ngayon naman na pumabor sa kanila, bawal tayong mag-ingay. Bawal nating gawin 'yon, bawal nating kondinahin, 'di ba? So, ayan, wala tayong magagawa kundi mag-move on. Kahit masakit, move on. But at the same time, we are here to observe. Hanggang sa muli, maraming salamat.